What is going on? Alrighty, I think I got it now. What? Oh my gosh, this is really starting to piss me off. Sorry guys. Just give me a second. I'm not sure if this is working or not. Give me a second. I'm not sure if this is working or not. If you're on, give me a second. I'm not sure if this is working or not. If you're on, just let me know so I know who's here. All right, cool. See if I can make this into a full screen. All right, if you guys can hear me, and if you can see my screen, just let me know or give me a thumbs up in the comment section. All right, cool. Let's see if it's gonna show me anything. Oh. All right, I don't know. All right, yeah, this is still new to me, but all right, guys. So let's get started here. Emotion. Hold up. Sorry, it's just not sharing my screen. So bear with me. All right, cool. This took a little longer than I expected to set up. All right, guys. So welcome to today's training on emotional and stress eating. Basically, we're going to be going over 3 strategies that's going to help you overcome emotional and stress eating and what you can do. Anyway, so let's dive right into it. So, whether out of stress, anxiety, sadness, boredom, grief, we usually turn to food for comfort. And it sets off a cascade of pleasurable sensations and make it easier to forget about, uncomfortable emotional experiences. And the way you want to think of it is when you stress eat, you're using food to solve a problem. Only it's a problem that food cannot solve. Why isn't my screen sharing? Sorry. All right, guys. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties, so just bear with me. It's just not cooperating with me for some reason. I think we should be good now. Yeah. All right, cool. So, sorry about that. I'm still getting used to these platforms. But it's not doing full screen. Oh, okay. Let's see if it works this time. All right, guys. So, when you stress eat, you're using food to solve a problem. Only it's food that, can't solve the problem. And what's more, most people who experience emotional eating feel trapped and guilty afterwards. So, after eating, it's usually when you get those downer feelings, and then you start feeling some type of way after, eating that food. So here are three strategies that I use. I helped with my clients, and it's helped. Um, try to do this. So, strategy number one develops awareness around what triggers your overeating. Strategy number two provides tools to help when your triggers are activated. Strategy number three helps you understand that your behavior around food doesn't define you as a person. All right, so we're going to go over strategy number one, and that is go ahead and overeat. And you're probably wondering, like, what the heck? What do you mean by that? So our brains like patterns, and many of our thoughts, emotions, actions happen on autopilot, and these sequences our brains know well for years, and it's a practice. So those sequences just need triggers in order to take place. In the presence of a trigger, your brain uh, dictates a given behavior, like stress eating, for example, without requiring a conscious decision making on your part. The physical sensation of hunger is the most obvious trigger. The stomach growling, slightly shaking, even Brussels sprouts sound good sensation is one of you can trust to tell it's time to eat. But stress eating usually comes after other type of triggers, like certain sights, smells, people, and emotion. For example, you might find yourself hitting the Girl Scout cookies hard every Saturday afternoon. You've always left wondering how it happened and why you feel so crappy about it. The process is automatic. You often don't have any idea of what's triggering it, and you don't even know what's happening. But if you really started paying close attention, you might have an epiphany. It's also, time to talk to your mom every week. So, problem solved. So, how to try it. So, you want to know how the first strategy works? Give yourself permission to overeat. It's going to feel weird, uncomfortable at first, but view as this as a learning experiment that's a necessary step in the process. So, next time you get the urge to stress eat, treat it as an experiment. I have a behavior awareness worksheet that will help you with this. So let me know and I'll give you access to it. And the document, what happens and what the document does is you write down what happens, before and after during the situation, and you want to record it. So this process will help you identify your triggers, but it'll also start removing or at least lessening any guilt or shame that you feel around overeating. It helps build your awareness on what's causing these triggers. So afterwards, you want to review your worksheet and ask yourself, what do you notice? Are there any patterns or aha moments that stick out to you? Maybe you notice you had to snack a cupboard right after getting off a stressful 2-hour conference call, and you don't realize you've been doing this almost every day for weeks. It's possible you'll have to do this experiment a few times before the triggers become obvious, and that is completely fine. It happens. Do your best. Do not obsess about the decisions to eat or not to eat. Instead, try focusing on learning more about your own behavior and keeping your worksheet notes handy so you can add them as needed. Remember, once you're aware of your triggers, decide what to do about it. You must decide what to do about it. It is something you can avoid, then great. I mean, if it's something you can't avoid, then we're going to have to work around it. If your trigger isn't something you can change or avoid, just being aware that you're experiencing a trigger can help you overcome it. All right. So, next thing we're going to go over is strategy number 2, creating a nourishment menu. So basically, pick a thing before the thing. And what that means is that basically means pick an action, a thing that you always do before engaging in stress eating, the other thing. So ideally, it's, you want to have a multiple action menu of choices for yourself that you can choose from when you start feeling the urges of stress eating. These actions disrupt the triggers and the behavior cycle, and I call it the nourishment menu because we're deprived of so many things that nourish us on many different levels right now. And here's an example of things you could do before you decide to eat. Take 3 deep breaths, drinking a big glass of water, mentally check for signs of physical hunger, play with your pet for 5 minutes, do some quick stretches, listen to your favorite song, read a book, the list can go on and on. And what's important here is that the most effective nourishment menus include actions that line up with your goals and values. So they'll be more likely to offer the same feeling of relief you were hoping, consciously or not, to get from food. So, for example, if you deeply value close friendships, calling or texting a friend could be one of your menu options. And, this is something you want to try once you feel the urge is coming. So, how to try it. You're going to be thinking, it sounds nice, but you probably won't actually do it. And it's true, it's hard. And here are 3 ideas that are going to help you stick with it and to continue with doing the nourishment menu and actually using it. Number 1, make it as easy as possible on yourself. So you want to ensure the items on your nourishment menu are doable and reasonable for you. They shouldn't be taking you hours to do. It should be something quick to do that will take you 15 minutes to do. Basically, it's there to get your mind off of food and to get you engaged on a different activity to distract you. Number 2, put your nourishment menu somewhere visible. So post it on the fridge, kitchen cabinet, anywhere you'll see it, so you're more likely to go to the nourishment menu than turning to food. Put it everywhere, make multiple copies, hang it up, have it around everywhere. Carry it by your side as well in a pocket. Number 3, keep track of how often you use your nourishment menu. This is important. because we want to record what happens when you do use it. As well, we want to record, what we're doing when we do end up using it. And at the end of the day, you can look back and see which actions helped you stop the stress eating cycle. So, basically, these are easy steps you guys can take to keep the nourishment menu around you and actually use it, because the goal here is actually implementing these strategies to help overcome your stress and the emotional eating. Strategy number 3, take a self-compassionate approach. So we are the most hardest critics on ourselves. We criticize ourselves more than anybody else. So feeling bad about being out of your routine will only make matters worse for yourself. So don't stress about it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Instead, take the self-compassionate approach. The attitude of generosity, honesty, and kindness towards yourself will make the big difference. Because lots of people who deal with stress eating have negative talk running in their heads around it. This will happen during, after, and beforehand. And, some things might sound similar, such as, I guess I'm going to hit up my snack stash again like I always do. Why can't I ever learn? Or, oh, I'm such an idiot for doing this again. Or another one, I just had to finish the ice cream, didn't I? Nice work, me. And the problem with this is that there's evidence, that backs this up, that negative self-talk is the opposite of companionship. It signals your brain to release dopamine, and dopamine is involved in habit formation and the addiction pathway. So it's not great, as you can, see. As a result, the cycle of negative talk, stress eating, and feeling bad about it becomes a never-ending loop that you're viciously cycling through and you can never seem to get out. And I can't talk today. Self-compassion, well, you know what I'm trying to say. Self-compassion, I just can't talk. Well, anyways, is a tool that's going to help interrupt that cycle. So the thing is, what we want to focus on is interrupting the cycle of stress eating or emotional eating when you feel it, because this is what's going to help you make the changes in your habits. So, yeah, you can work on stress eating by being nice to yourself, and it's just as simple as that. Be honest with yourself. Remember this, guys. Self-companion. Why can't I say this today? Self-compassion doesn't mean giving yourself a free pass to eat whatever you want, because this will only make matters worse for yourself. So, how to try it. There's 3 main elements we're going to focus on: mindfulness, common humanity, and self-kindness. So, mindfulness. This is when you're aware of what you're doing, thinking, feeling, and experiencing, but you're not judging yourself for it. Number 2, common humanity. Acknowledging that you're not alone, that everyone else goes through what you're dealing with at some point. So, we all go through the same thing. We all have our struggles. And the last thing I want you guys to do is compare yourself with somebody else. We are on our own journey. We are on our own path, and we are doing this on our own timeline. So don't compare yourself with other people. Focus on yourself and just be completely honest with yourself and on what's going to help you move forward. And then number 3, self-kindness, being generous and decent to yourself. Guys, when it comes to nutrition, I want you to understand, don't look at it as a diet. Don't be thinking about time frames of 1 week, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks. Think about this as a lifestyle change. So start taking small steps, implementing these things that you can, change in your lifestyle and shift things around. So it's going to be more comfortable for you and more sustainable and doable for you. All right. So when you're about to stress eat, try to interrupt the cycle with some self-compassion and kindness. This will help, change your mind frame about the food and your relationship with it as well. All right. So here are some examples I got for you guys. Mindfulness. I'm so anxious being cooped up in the house right now, and those chips are really calling my name. Now we're going to do calming humanity. That's okay. Plenty of people have a hard time saying no to chips. Now we're going to self-kindness. Take a deep breath. Whether or not I choose to eat right now, it's going to be okay. Now you see, we're going to use the same examples here, and we're going to, during and after stress eating. So listen to this. Mindfulness. I'm feeling pretty guilty right now. This sucks. Calming humanity. A lot of people are probably feeling this way right now, that we are all spending more time at home. Self-kindness. All right, shake it off. So you ate some chips, it happens. That doesn't mean anything about who you are deep down. You see, guys, food does not change who you are as a person and individual. And being, truly in line with yourself and honest with yourself, one slip up will not hurt you. Just don't let that one add on, and don't let it stack up on top of each other, because then you'll fall back into that vicious loop and cycle. All right, guys. So a key distinction here is that self-companion isn't an excuse to stress eat. It's a purpose to help remove some of the guilt you're feeling about stress eating. That's important, since guilt can just lead to more overeating. So, guys, it's totally normal to be feeling all the feelings right now. It's totally normal to go through those feelings and, want to indulge in some food that's going to help you bring, those happier feelings. Because, we're going to backtrack again. Once we're feeling sad and we're looking for happier feelings and we indulge in that food, that's going to release dopamine, which is the relationship we don't want around food, because now we're turning to food for that happy feeling. And that's what we don't want to create. And this is why we have these strategies, so we can build awareness of something like this coming upon us, and what tools we can use to help, overcome the stress eating or emotional eating when you're starting to feel the urges. So finishing up here, it's, guys, it's understandable to look to food to deal with those feelings. Food provides us with joy, comfort, and sustenance. We associate it with good memories, big life moments, and meals shared with loved ones. We might even use food to help define ourselves, our jobs, cultures, relationships. But the more we use food to bury how we feel, the worse those uncomfortable feelings get. All right, guys, I know this was pretty long. It's a lot of detail. Sorry I couldn't get this as like a whole full screen. I'm trying to mess around with this. But is there any questions from you guys before I hop off here? I know I went over a lot of details, so please, I want you guys to watch this a few times. And in the comments section, please let me know your biggest takeaway from this, what you've learned and how it's helped you the most. And yeah, guys, so remember, stress eating is something that's very common. About 60% of people in America are dealing with this. And the problem is understanding the awareness we have amongst ourselves and the food. Because most of the time when we feel like we're hungry, we're actually not hungry. It's just our brain tricking ourselves. So when you start feeling, hunger strike, have that nourishment menu with you, and, make a list where it's going to nourish yourself. So, you pick an action item off that list that's going to help you forget about the food, put you in a better feeling, and get you active and help you towards your goal. All right, guys. So that's it for now and today. Thank you so much for being a part of today's training. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch and listen to this. So if you guys got any questions, let me know. Other than that, peace out.